Last night, Buenos Aires was swallowed in a suffocating darkness when tragedy struck. Liam Payne, beloved former member of One Direction, had fallen to his death from the balcony of his third-floor hotel suite. It was just hours after a triumphant, sold-out concert. The city buzzed with life that evening, but by early morning, silence fell, broken only by a single scream, piercing through the night. Authorities quickly ruled it a tragic accident. They said Liam simply lost his balance, fell to his death. But the truth, as it slowly came to light, was far more sinister. Whispers began circulating, whispers of something darker lurking behind his death. As investigators began to dig, they uncovered unsettling details that suggested Liam's fall wasn't an accident. It was a hit, carefully planned and executed. It all started months ago when Liam unknowingly became entangled in a business deal connected to a dangerous man, Sean P. Diddy Combs. Imprisoned on sex trafficking charges, Diddy had lost his empire, but his influence remained. Even behind bars, he had power. Liam had crossed Diddy without even realizing it, rejecting a small music deal. A simple decision, one that should have meant nothing, had sealed his fate. In the weeks leading up to his death, Liam had been receiving strange calls and messages, but he brushed them off, thinking it was just overzealous fans. But they weren't. They were warnings. The shadow that followed him had been growing. It wasn't long before something darker found him. On that final night, Liam stood on his balcony, feeling a creeping unease. The concert was over, but the rush of excitement had faded into a strange sense of dread. His room felt wrong. The shadows in the corners seemed to move, shifting and writhing as though something lurked just out of sight. He tried to shake the feeling, telling himself he was just tired. But deep down, he knew. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and in that brief darkness, Liam saw it, something standing in the corner of his room. Pale, with hollow eyes and a mouth stretched too wide, it watched him. His heart pounded in his chest, but when the lights came back on, it was gone. The figure, a twisted creature, had vanished into the shadows. But it wasn't gone. It was closer now, and he could feel its presence, its cold breath, whispering from the darkness. The whispers grew louder, filling the room with a low, guttural sound that seemed to come from every corner. Liam's skin crawled as the shadows thickened around him. His breath caught in his throat when the figure reappeared, its limbs impossibly long, bending at unnatural angles. The thing spoke, but not with its own voice. It used Diddy's voice, low and menacing. "You should have stayed away," it hissed. Panic surged through Liam as he stumbled backward, his heart racing. The balcony railing pressed into his back as the creature drew closer, its twisted smile widening. It moved with a terrifying speed, grabbing him by the throat with cold, bony fingers. Liam gasped for breath, but the creature's grip was too strong. It lifted him effortlessly, staring into his eyes with hollow, black voids. In those final moments, Liam realized the truth: Diddy hadn't forgotten. His death was no accident. He was being erased, made an example of. The thing that held him now was sent to claim him, a creature from the darkness, brought forth by an unspeakable evil. With a final, violent twist, the creature flung Liam over the edge of the balcony. His body hit the pavement below, broken and lifeless. But his soul was taken long before he hit the ground. The world would mourn the sudden loss of a star, but behind the scenes, the truth would remain buried. Liam Payne hadn't just fallen. He had been taken, dragged into the dark, a victim of a plan born in shadows, orchestrated by a man who, even from behind bars, could reach into the night and snuff out a life. And somewhere, in a prison cell, Sean P. Diddy Combs smiled. He knew this was just the beginning. The shadows were still hungry.
There is nothing you can't make scary.